asked me about my shirt.
That's a cool shirt, Maggie. Where'd you get it?
It was my friend's. I think it's so cool that friends will do this thing where sometimes they'll just bring bags of clothes they're getting rid of and have free-for-alls where you can take stuff.
You've had that all your life.
No, I haven't.
I was thinking about like your school uniforms and like things like that.
Oh, so exciting. A school uniform. No, I will say that was nice. Like when your friends would graduate and you could kind of call dibs on their sweatshirts and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah. And it was nice where you could get the old uniforms that aren't like even made anymore. Cause then you could differentiate yourself from what everybody else looks like, even though it's a uniform.
I had vintage polos and stuff.
Yes.
From upperclassmen friends.
But no, that's cool.
It's very.
Does it have sleeves? Like it looks like a big like drapey thing. But if you
It's just a t-shirt.
It's a t-shirt. Cool. Too bad we're not doing the video anymore because it's a good looking shirt. But that's okay. Hey, this is episode 40. Can you believe it?
It's episode 41.
41? What happened to 40?
41. 40
last week?
I believe happened last week. Yeah. If I had to guess, I'd say it happened last week.
Okay. But we didn't really acknowledge it. That's like 40 episodes. That's big. But you know what's even bigger?
41.
Yeah.
41. Before you know it, it'll be 50.
And then it'll be 52, which is a full year. And then we'll be into season 2.
Wow.
And then it gets crazy.
That's wild.
We can't get there until we start this episode. So.
That's true.
Should we?
Shall we roll the intro music?
Let's do it.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
Oh, I wasn't recording. I'm kidding. It's a joke. I'm an actor.
You're a comedian.
I'm an aspiring comedian.
You are an aspiring actress, auditioning left and right.
How? Well, here's the question: is when are you no longer aspiring?
True.
Because I've filmed a movie.
Well, that's true. You are an actress, no doubt about it.
Let's go.
You're on IMDb and stuff.
Let's go. I was talking with friends about that. Of when in life, when you are in an aspiring career, are you no longer aspiring? Also, putting the word aspiring before your career is a little degrading.
That's a good point. I think you're always you should always be aspiring to a new level of learning, to the next opportunity in front of you. Acting is like that, in that between projects, you're out of work a little bit. Well, or completely.
Yeah, but you could say that about speaking. You could say, "Oh, I don't know my next speech, so now even though I've been doing this for 20 years, am I back to being an aspiring speaker?"
Do they still love me? I mean, I basically told other speakers, I said, the nature of this business is you'll find yourself either thinking, either sitting at home thinking, why am I not booked? Or on the road going, when am I going to get home again? That's kind of like the reality of it. But it's true. Man. It's like you just have to always stay hungry. And I think that's the key. Hungry for learning and achievement.
Yeah, always stay hungry, but also always stay grateful. I think it's really easy because you don't have something directly in front of you that's big and shiny to say like, oh my gosh, and like, life is so tough right now. Like, I just need this one more thing. When actually, like, we can look back and be like, well, just like counting blessings and stuff like that. Like whenever, I've found that as my new tactic. Whenever I'm anxious, whenever I'm overwhelmed, just count your blessings and it calms you down a little bit.
True. Yeah, the secret to life is knowing that you can go after anything you want and yet still being content where you are.
Yeah.
And somehow finding that connection between those two ideas.
And that's happiness.
Is what puts you present in the moment.
Yeah, genuinely. Like, I don't know if this sounds like lame or whatever, but I think like contentment is happiness. Like just being able to be content in your situation.
Yes.
Which, like, of course, is
content in your own skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and of course we say this very situationally. Like we're not trying to like press anything on like really hard situations where it's like, no, just be content and you'll be happy. Like that's insensitive when we don't know every situation.
Exactly.
But just personally in my life, that's what I've found helps me a lot.
It's a journey. But when I said content in your own skin, I meant that figuratively, but also literally, because I mean, your skin is the only skin you have, right? Which is why I am so excited, because this podcast is brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Apostrophe. And we've all had struggles with our skin. And so we've decided to partner with Apostrophe, who's sponsoring this episode. Tell us about them, Maggie.
Apostrophe is a prescription skincare company that offers science-backed oral and topical medications that are clinically proven to help clear acne.
Apostrophe connects you with a board-certified dermatologist who will create a personalized treatment plan that is perfectly tailored to your unique skin.
Simply fill out Apostrophe's online quiz about your skin goals and medical history, then snap a few selfies, and your dermatologist will create your customized treatment plan.
Apostrophe treats all types of acne, from hormonal acne to facial acne, and even chest knee, back knee, and butt knee. They treat breakouts from head to toe. And it's not, I mean, acne is their specialty. They're great at that. But they also treat other skin conditions, including like wrinkling. I went to apostrophe.com and I used our code and I filled it out. And I said what I wanted was some treatment with regard to wrinkles and my wrinkle lines.
Woo-hoo.
Well, I just got the box and I'm going to open it for you right now. It says confidence delivered on the front, this cute little box. And you open it up and the Apostrophe label's there. It says the path to healthier skin is finally clear. And, oh, this is so cute. You've got this little bag with my skin product in it. It says clear days ahead.
A little ASMR right now with the unboxing.
Yeah, exactly. And the, one pump or half pump nightly to your face. Apply that, and that's my wrinkle cream. Oh, and I've even got some sunscreen, SPF 43, some slather on, #slather on sunscreen.
43, that's good.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome for playing golf and all that good stuff.
Every day you should be wearing sunscreen, Dad.
I know, and I haven't. Like, I'm so excited to finally be taking good care of my skin.
Yeah, now you've got something to be excited about. Well, we have a special deal for our audience. You can save $15 off your first visit with an Apostrophe provider at apostrophe.com/chaos when you use our code chaos. And that's only available for our listeners.
To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/chaos and click begin visit, and then use our code chaos at sign up, and you'll get their first visit for only $5.
That's apostrophe.com/chaos and use that code chaos to get your dermatologist crafted treatment plan for $5. We thank Apostrophe for sponsoring this podcast.
All right. And I thank you for my products. I can't wait to start using them, Apostrophe. That's awesome. So we haven't really introduced this podcast in this episode, other than the fact that it's number 41. But if you're listening and you don't know this podcast yet, that's Maggie Thurman. She's not just an aspiring actress. She's a legit full-time actress, auditioning practically every day, living in LA. She's like this close to her next big break and big movie, and just crushing it out there in the world.
Aspiring TikToker.
No, she's definitely a full-fledged TikToker. I guess I am too. I've been getting
absolutely. Yeah, this over here is my wonderful dad, Dan Thurman, who is a aspiring motivational speaker.
For the last 28 years, I've been aspiring.
Yep, everyone's going to think we have no credentials.
Just Google us, guys. It's okay.
Just hopeful people. No, but as he also said, he's a full-fledged TikToker, bringing happiness to your For You page. Wait, that's kind of cute. I don't think I've ever said that. That's nice. A cute little slogan, bringing happiness to your For You page.
Love it.
Also in the room is my mom.
Hey, honey.
Shilya, or Shay Thurman.
Laughing in the background.
Who's an incredible, awesome woman. She's a writer. She's an occasional TikToker.
Very occasional.
And behind the scenes is Eddie, our son, and Maggie's brother, who does the editing for the podcast. And he's bringing you some love from behind the scenes this week and from out in California as well, in a different part of town.
Yeah.
But it's our family podcast. And what we do here on Wholesome Chaos is we talk about real life, what's going on for us, what we're working on, what we're struggling with in real time. And we do it in a very real way so that we can help each other and also help you in your family dynamics too. So,
you know what we're struggling with right now is the latest update to our Tesla.
yeah,
I wrote that down. I wrote that down as something I wanted to talk about.
that was funny. We were looking for how do you turn on the windshield wipers or open the glove box? You were trying to open the glove box. And what happens on a Tesla is the software updates. And because everything is touchscreen, like your buttons change and you don't know how to work with your car anymore, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. I mean, you know how to drive it. The driving experience doesn't change.
Yeah.
But glove box, tricky thing.
I was on the phone with them while they were driving when this all happened. And I just hear, how do you open the glove box? And like, I don't know. These updates, Elon. Like I don't know how to use my car anymore.
But the other thing Elon does
really
is like your car just naturally gets better. Like the auto steering gets better, the lane controls. I think about when autopilot first came online, like there was a period of time it was installed in all the vehicles, but it wasn't legal to turn it on yet. And then it became legal. They got the approval. And then suddenly one day, all these Tesla owners woke up and suddenly their car could drive itself. That's a pretty neat improvement. And in theory, your car just keeps getting better the longer you have it. And I've had mine a long time. I've had my car since 2016, and Mom's had hers since 2018 or so. And we really dig them. We love them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're having a good morning here. We had a pretty late night, uncharacteristically for us. Mm-hmm. We were out dancing, Maggie. We were out doing some Persian dancing.
As you should.
Yes. We were at our dear friend Lita's home, and she invited us along with all of her Persian community and members of her church. And we're celebrating two things, their second anniversary and the Persian New Year, which is the same as the first day of spring, which recently happened. And it was so much fun. Great food, live music, live dancing.
Yeah, I just had leftovers before the podcast. Lita sent us home with food. I love that about her. Like, she always feeds me. You know, she knows I love Persian food, and we don't have any Persian restaurants out here. And so periodically she'll just come over and say, "Oh, I cooked for you." I love it.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And of course, that's your mom's best buddy. And she met her back before Lita knew any English at all. And you were very young. We were reminiscing about those memories.
Maggie wasn't born.
You weren't born?
No, I was pregnant through that. So it was just awesome because we were both young mothers, and we literally could communicate before we shared a language. We were best friends, and just never even realized when she learned English because we had always been able to communicate. So it's like we think back to that. I'm like, when did that happen? Like, we could always communicate.
And a lot of what was happening last night was in Farsi. They were, the natural conversation, because this is their community. They all speak Farsi first and then English second. And so they would have to translate things for us. But it was great. Like, they kept us really included.
And playing live music. And she said, like they get together like every week and just, like when I was a teen, we would get together with people and play guitar and sing songs. And so it's the same kind of thing, but they play different instruments and sing in Persian songs.
Yeah, that's
like Cat Stevens. No, I'm just kidding.
It reminded me, because, when you're dancing, the music, you want to go out on the dance floor, and the instrumentation was really different, like hammer dulcimer and violin and a lot of percussion, and then singing and things like this. And, so I go out there with Sasan and start dancing, or, we'd start doing our thing, and different people, Lita's pulling us on the dance floor. And I'm moving, and I feel like I could dance, and I'm doing, my moves, and I'm probably throwing in some TikTok stuff and doing a little wacky taffy, or I don't know what.
Oh, my goodness.
But they're just all looking at me all goofy. And what I realized is that, it's one thing to dance, but when you're at a cultural event, it's about adopting the style of dance that's appropriate for the music.
Attempting.
Yeah.
Aspiring to dance.
Did
Persian style.
Did anyone teach you?
Yeah, subtly. Like you just mimic people and try different things. There's a lot of hand movements and things like this. That also happened when I was in Mexico recently. I got out on the dance floor and this woman, she's dancing with me and she's like, no. Do this. She worked with me for like 20 minutes. And then she's like, okay, now you're dancing like a Mexican. And the other thing it made me think about is growing up in a Polish family with really that same rich heritage, history, very different music. But we had like these big parties when I was a kid where, we'd have my uncles playing accordion and this instrument with like a big stick, like almost like a broom handle. It was a broom handle, I think, with a string attached on top of this drum, and you'd stretch it and play it like a bass note. Yeah. Like you'd literally get the bass sound off of that, and just polka dancing and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, moving on. Sorry.
I've been watching a new show.
Yeah.
It's called Is It Cake? Have you seen anything about this?
Is it cake?
Is it a baking show?
It's a baking show where they would bring out like 10 hamburgers or something, and you have to guess which one of them is not a hamburger, but is in fact cake. It's really interesting. And it's inspired me that today, after this podcast, actually, I'm going to run to the store. I'm going to get some ingredients, and I'm going to make a hamburger cake or attempt to.
Are you really? Now you should definitely make a TikTok about that.
I will. I will be making a TikTok about that. I have a few ideas. And then I'll bring it to some of my friends tonight because we're going to go see a movie tonight, which I haven't seen a movie in a while.
Cool.
Nice.
I have a joke with some friends that I've actually never seen any movies ever because I feel like every time someone brings up a movie, I haven't seen it. Like classic movies. I usually am a binge an entire season in a night type of person, but I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to become a reader and I'm trying to become a movie person.
Well, that would be consistent and congruent with being an actress, is to really know classic film.
How to read. Oh,
yeah, that too. Yeah, having your friends come over and read you scripts is not a good strategy.
No, FaceTiming my parents and getting them to sound out the big words for me.
I do love how you do your auditions with mom, though. That's fun how your mom's your audition partner.
It's crazy. And so much props to mom because I'll call mom and be like, hey, can you help me film an audition real quick? And she'll say, yeah, of course. And we'll call. And then I'll hang up the call. And it will have been like an hour and a half that we were on the phone. So big thank you to you, Mom. You're a real one.
You know she loves it. It gets awkward sometimes depending on the script.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Maggie, we've got another great sponsor for this episode. Speaking of baking things, making things, cooking food. Who doesn't love food? You got to have food.
Love food.
To have good food, to have fresh fruit. What am I trying to say?
Hello
to
Fresh.
Have fresh food is the best food. And to have it delivered to your door? Come on. That's even better. So our sponsor, one of our longtime sponsors whom we love, is HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
It's all about convenience with HelloFresh. Not only do the ingredients come pre-portioned, so you're not overbuying or wasting food, but it's easier than ever to get filling meals on the table in a snap with options like family-friendly or quick and easy recipes.
HelloFresh has fit and wholesome recipes for satisfying and nutritious meals that you can feel good about, with 6 recipes per week to choose from, including low-calorie and carb-conscious options.
We've all had our experience with HelloFresh, and it's been such a great tool for me to utilize living alone, where I don't want to overbuy. I don't want to create these giant meals, and I can really customize that with HelloFresh to have meals that are more specifically for one person or 2 people and have leftovers. So it's been really great.
Go to HelloFresh.com/16chaos and use that code 16chaos for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts.
That's HelloFresh.com/16chaos and use code 16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts.
America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh.
I had a really cool thing happen the other day.
What's that?
I was at this really cool coffee shop / food place, restaurant, I guess some would call it. And I was waiting in line with some friends, and we were about to order, and we had been waiting in line for like 20 minutes. Like it's a popular hopping place. And the girl who was behind us, we like made eye contact, and I was actually about to compliment her pants because she had really cool pants on. And she just goes, "I love your videos with your dad." And I was like, "That's so sweet. Thank you so much." And she said, she was like, "Whenever I'm missing my dad, I watch like y'all's videos."
Oh.
And that was just so precious to me and so kind. And I really appreciated that interaction. So I thought I'd share it with you.
And you said to her, "Well, you just don't know him that well. He can be really annoying sometimes. He can totally get on your nerves."
We can all.
We had one of those moments earlier today as we were getting ready for the podcast. We just weren't quite on the same page. And it's like, it happens.
It absolutely happens. And that's so normal. And it's something that even like us talking about it right now, like something that I love about our relationship is it is definitely flawed. Like we definitely get on each other's nerves sometimes, but we always have like a strong center point to come back to where I know I get very, very hyper conscious of this, and I think you do too, where it's like we never want to hurt each other's feelings. We never want to tear each other down. That's never the intent. And so when we like have realizations of moments, like when we have done that, I think it's always a very quick comeback where we're like, "I'm sorry about that." Like, and yeah. Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
I do. I mean, we're most critical about other people and the aspects that we find that we don't like about ourselves. And so I think when we see flaws in certain things or just things that make us crazy, it really is just kind of like drawing attention to something within ourselves that we're working on and dealing with. And the mark of a great relationship is that you give each other permission to try things and to grow and to change, but also hold each other accountable. And so that's what we try to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did the math recently, Maggie, and it's right about 15,000.
What is?
15,000. Oh, so I'm thinking, I'm 53 right now. I'm almost 54. So if I live, I mean, the normal life expectancy is 78 years, 79, maybe 80. If you're
personally,
what's that?
I hate this conversation.
No, I mean, but I'm thinking I could at least go to 95.
Oh yeah.
Before I die. Uncle Ted, by the way, who was at a lot of those polka parties, today's his 99th birthday. So longevity is in my family.
Happy birthday.
But if I live to 95, then I have roughly 15,000 days until I'm dead. And
Stop. So, why are we talking about this? I'm going to cry.
Talking about what? Mortality?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's a great topic. I think everyone should talk about mortality and think about it often.
No.
Do you think about it relative to your life? Because you know it's going to happen, right? You know you're going to die.
I have tears in my eyes at the moment. I'm far less concerned about me dying than the people around me dying.
Yeah. It's the one thing people like, pretend their whole life is never going to happen to them. And then they seem surprised at the end when it's really the only thing we know with certainty is at some point in our life, it's going to come to a conclusion. And I feel like once you come to terms with that, then everything changes in some way. And, a lot of the BS goes away and you're able to just kind of like see what is really important in life. Because it's not about how long you live, really.
It's about, how you live your life. And, yeah.
I actually thought of that would be like a good conversation starter. When you meet somebody for the first time, you just say, "Hey, how are you? Have you adequately contemplated your mortality?"
Yeah.
And just to see what their reaction is. I think it would just take you right into a very deep and meaningful conversation.
I think the definition of mortality also, not the definition, but well, kind of changes on like who you're talking to. Like for me, someone who like has faith, is religious, like believes that that this is not all that there is, you know, then my gravity of like contemplating mortality is going to be different than somebody who believes that there's nothing after this, that we just are nothing
run out of days.
After. Yeah. And so there's that aspect as well. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing to think about, which is crazy because I was having a conversation last night because obviously I've had more experience with people I love passing away than myself passing away because I'm still here. And so I think that's probably why I fear that more than me passing away because, you know, if I go, then I'm gone. I'm probably doing other things, not super concerned about this.
True.
But no, it really sucks to lose people. And so that
from one
aspect of
perspective,
mortality
absolutely.
I don't like to think about.
But from the standpoint that people are a gift and they flow in and out of your life and you never know how long you're going to be with when that last conversation is going to be. Like if you could get that in your mind, then if you hold that so true and present in the forefront of your moment, then every conversation becomes a meaningful conversation because you don't know whether or not it's going to be the last one. Every goodbye becomes a very sincere goodbye. I care about you. And every, embrace and hello is another celebration of here we are again and we're still in each other's lives. You know what I mean? It's like
I do because I used to live that way to a fault.
Explain.
Like, I get very, very paranoid about things. This is no surprise to you guys. I do get very just hyper aware of how easy it is for people to come in and out of your life. And so I've always kind of had that weight with me of like when you're hugging someone, it could be the last time you're hugging them. And yeah. That's sentimental. That's nice. You're present, but it's also a weight that you carry with you in every interaction. And like I'm finding just like even in this conversation that's been lifted more recently, like probably like in this past year. But I do remember walking around with that. And like every time I would hug someone, be like, if this was the last time I like ever hugged them, do they feel adequately loved by me? Like would this be an okay note? And like, that's sweet, but it's also just a heavy thing to live with all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You always feel like, okay, when's the next shoe going to drop?
Yeah.
As opposed to just what I think your dad is more thinking of is just always celebrate the moments, the times together and enjoy those moments and be present, as opposed to thinking about this is the last moment I may see this, not to really look at it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But don't, I'm not saying don't put off the opportunity to be truthful. Don't put off the opportunity to be, to express the uniqueness that you have and the perspective that you have. And to go for it. It's like, would you rather live a long life that's relatively safe and uneventful, or would you rather live for your years taking bigger chances of both success
absolutely.
And failure and deeper learning and greater enjoyment and impact and honesty?
And I think that's great. And I think like the notion and the habit of putting things off because there's a tomorrow is like a dangerous mindset because, tomorrow's never promised and you don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. And so it's very easy. And we get into that habit as humans where it's like, oh, no. I'll tell the boy that I like him when the time's right. And the time's never right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I totally get that.
Yeah. Or we really need to get together one day. Or what we really should do is blah. And it's like that, those two words, like what we should do, here's what we should do, or we need to do this. And we agree that we need to do it, which is the agreement that we're never going to do it. Like we feel better by acknowledging the fact that we have that intention and that takes us off the hook to do a damn thing about it, right? Instead of saying, okay, get out your calendar. Let's figure this out. Let's plan it. Let's go.
You really do have to put things on the calendar like immediately. It's wild.
But once you get in that habit, And then you're kind of like stacking these future meaningful experiences in your life ahead of you, and you could forget about them. And then they just start showing up and you're like, oh, wow, I get to do this now because I thought about it and committed to it before.
Yeah.
And so that's a great habit to get into, to use your calendar that way.
Was this the deep conversation you warned me about before, telling me that I have 15,000 days left with you?
Yeah, actually I wrote that yesterday, so it's actually 14,999.
Oh, no.
No, I mean, who knows is the answer.
That's true. Yeah.
If I go tomorrow, here's the thing. If I go tomorrow, just know that I feel fulfilled and happy and like that I've gotten everything out of life that I want.
Same.
But
what about grandkids?
Oh yeah, except grandkids. No, I do want that. I want to be able to create a bigger family experience and a culture and a bond that goes beyond us.
Can I tell you something exciting?
Yeah.
I think I do.
Yes.
I think I want to get married.
Are you dating?
No. I told you guys that the other day too. You guys were looking at a house and I was like, well, when me and my boyfriend come like to visit you guys, then we'll need like extra rooms. And you guys were like, are you talking to someone? And I was like, no.
Yeah, one for you, one for him. On different floors, separated by the dogs.
Of course.
Who will bark in the middle of the night.
Yeah, when your dad came to meet my parents for the first time, I guess my mom came out with my sister to meet you when they found out I was serious about this juggler. And they're like, a juggler? Well, but what does he do for a living? Well, he's a juggler. Wait a second. Is that a living? Is that a career? But anyway, but then when we went out to the ranch for Dan to meet my dad, they put a cot up for him in the library, right? In that back downstairs library.
Man.
It was intimidating. Her dad's was a brigadier general, the head of tropical medicine for this, for the Army, and then the director of the Texas State Board of Health. And
he was one of the people that found
polio
the cure for
right?
polio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he would be wearing his uniform when I got off the plane.
That's so funny. You told me that years later. He's like, oh, I thought he was good. Like, no, he was retired. He wears his uniform around the ranch.
But we are looking at houses for the first time in a long time. We've been in the house you grew up in, the only house you ever knew, for 22 years, and we're thinking it's time to make a change. We just don't know exactly what that is yet.
Yeah, LA.
No, we'll just stay with you when we come to LA.
No, you absolutely should. Maybe that means I'll get a bigger place so we could have like 2 rooms would be a nice change. But no,
there's an idea.
It's such a conflicting thing for me because I'm so excited for you guys. Like that sounds so fun. A new chapter of life, a new house, new memories. Like it sounds so good. But like you said, it's the only house I've ever known. And I love it. And I'm a sentimental sucker who still sleeps with a teddy bear, which is probably something that the internet didn't need to know about me. But here we are, talking on a podcast.
Here we are. I love it too. We've got not one deck, but 2 decks connected by a fire pole, which I've always wanted.
Yeah.
I've got my own putting green, a waterfall in the backyard, and all our stuff's there.
Yeah, the dogs. You can't take the dogs with you if you move. Right?
No, I mean, we would definitely take the dogs with us.
Yeah, they come with the house.
Yeah, they've been going with us everywhere we go lately. But anyway, speaking of choices, there's a question that came in from Kyra, who asks a question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
She says, I'm struggling with my career lately. I'm a teacher, and this year has been so hard. It's starting to affect my mental and physical health because I'm always stressed out. My husband and I have started discussing the idea of me stepping away from teaching and staying home with our 2-year-old son. My overall health is very important to me so that I can be healthy for my family in the long run, but how do you make a decision when both options are risky? Staying in my current job is causing me health issues, but quitting my job to stay home is risky because we won't have my income anymore. How do you weigh risky decisions? That's kind of the essence of the question. Thank you and love listening to your podcast. P.S. Your sponsorship ads are the only ads I don't fast forward through during podcasts.
Whoop, whoop. We're
Kyra.
honored.
Yes, and it's great for our sponsors to hear that as well. So thank you for that. But a great question, which is really applicable to everyone. How do you make a tough decision when both options have some risk, some uncertainty involved? Do you have any thoughts on that before I jump in?
Why don't you jump in first?
Okay, sure. Well, first, Kyra, I want to validate your question, and I'm going to answer this in a way that I would, if we were in a conversation, I'd want to know some things, and I'd want to ask you some questions. I would want you to tell me more about your health issues and your mental concerns on that, and kind of where things are going. But obviously, there's a compelling reason and need that's driving this desire for a change. And that's a good thing. And that's motivated ultimately by love, by being close to your child and your family, and being a part of those moments that are just so incredibly precious and won't go, won't come back at any point. And so there's no way that being at home would be a wrong answer. It's just another right answer. I would say that whenever I'm trying to make a decision, and there's like the easy decisions are, this is a great obvious answer and this is a terrible decision. I'm going to choose the thing that's obviously the good rather than the thing that's the bad. But when you have to choose from two bad things or two good things, that's when it gets really complicated. And I think you've got two good potential scenarios because there's upsides and downsides to each aspect. But I would ask you to project yourself mentally, like think about the end of the decision and you've made the choice. Like, I'm going to quit teaching for a while. It doesn't have to be permanent, but I'm going to step away from teaching and I'm going to be at home with our child, and I'm going to just go with that and commit to it. And just imagine you've already made that decision and then say, well, how do I feel about it now? Like, put yourself in the emotional context of having made that decision and say, how do I feel? Do I feel relieved? Do I feel scared? Do I feel excited and liberated? Am I happy? And then you make the other choice in your mind and say, no, I'm going to decide to stick with this, forego that decision, and just commit to being a teacher for the near future or for the foreseeable future. And then play that out in your mind and see how that sits with you emotionally. So what you're trying to do, I call it future hindsight. Project your thinking to the future and then look back with hindsight from that decision as if it's already been made. And now you have an emotional context that's also really valuable in addition to like weighing out the pros and cons. And there'll probably be a clear choice in that process for you.
I think that's great. Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Cool. The, stepping away and making decisions can be crazy. There's someone I'm working with right now. Could you ever imagine doing this, Maggie? His wife came up to him one day. This is someone I'm coaching, and said, I want to get on the road with you and just take our family on the road. Had two kids, a 10-year-old and at the time, 4-year-old or 5-year-old. And said, we're going to sell our house. We're going to get an Airstream. You're going to work from the road, because he was already mobile commuting. This is way before COVID. And I'm going to homeschool, and we're just going to move, live out of an RV, or an Airstream, and take ourselves around the country. And can you imagine that? Like selling everything?
Probably not for me. I'm very much a homebody, but some people, that's exactly how they thrive and where they feel most alive. And I think they should totally go for that. The world would be so boring if we were all wired the same way, if we all wanted the same lives,
Exactly. Well, and what he told me is like, it opened up our world so much. They thought they were giving away a lot. Mm-hmm. In fact, they had to give away a lot of things physically, because all they could keep themselves was like 2 boxes of stuff, their most cherished things that they could bring with them. They called it the Great Purge. But what they got in exchange was this life of complete freedom, and every day was different, every day was new. He said the national parks became my office park. And it's a very cool story developing into a TED Talk. That's what I'm coaching him with, is getting his TED Talk in shape. In fact, his Instagram is Shiny Tiny Times. This is AC Chan. So if you wanted to check that out and see kind of what I'm talking about. But yeah, it got me to thinking about what would my other life be like if I made some other radical choices like that.
Yeah, I think it's also so easy to get in a state where like you want compulsive change. Like I feel that way a lot of the times with my hair, or I'll want to like either like chop it off or dye it just because like you're craving a drastic change instantaneously. And I think those are such fun places to be in, you know? And I feel like maybe you guys are feeling a little bit of that with like the possibility of moving, where it's like, well, that'd just be so exciting, you know? And it would be.
Yeah, because we can.
Yeah.
Because we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Army brat, so I always thought I would just move and move and move, but because of your dad's work, we got to travel. Mm-hmm. So it was like, that's even better. Then I don't have to pack up a house. I just pack a suitcase. But yeah, we've been there 22 years, and I think we're ready for a change.
My life as a speaker, being on the road, affords me a lot of opportunities to see new places, to be at new hotels and different experiences with different audiences. And I love that. But I am a homebody and a creature of habit. Mom will tell you that about me.
Me too.
You know, often when she wants me to do something and change something, or, you know, something bold, it takes her a year or more to convince me of this. And then when we finally do it, I'm like, oh, that's great. I love it. You know, like the studio that we're here in right now, and where we do our, you know, virtual programs.
4 years, people.
4 years. I'm like, I don't think we need to convert that studio. I'm not going to do digital events. Well, of course, then we did. And then COVID hit. And obviously your mother's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But what I found out with you is that, like, I can imagine stuff in the way I want stuff, but you don't, if I explain it to you, it's not painting the picture in your mind. So you can't do it. But often if I show you a picture, like showing you like the house, like you weren't really into the idea of moving until we started looking at houses on Zillow. And then it was like, now we're both on board.
Yeah.
Although we keep changing our mind every other day.
Well, what's weird is like we want a
love
house.
our house.
Yeah, we want a house in a great neighborhood and like in a really nice spot. Or we're looking at like golf courses and things. And it's like, man, what do we want? But then these houses are like mansion, like they're really big in terms of like square footage. That now that we're empty nesters, it's like it's the opposite of downsizing.
Not. You're empty nesters for kids who come back all the time.
Yay!
And we'd also be like consolidating our business into our house.
Yeah.
And the cooler the house, the more likely they'll keep coming home, right, Max?
Yeah, and you need a new fire pole, obviously.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And a train. What?
I could take the fire pole with me, but then that'll just be a big hole in our deck.
And you guys are going to start fostering like a dozen dogs at a time. So.
Or kids. We can start fostering kids.
No.
You sure?
They haven't even left yet. What are you talking about? He's been gone 2 weeks.
Do you want a brother or sister, Maggie?
I want dogs. I want to foster dogs.
All right. Here's another fun question, or actually not a question, but just a comment. I have a paralyzed stomach and can't eat a wide variety of foods. That's not the fun part.
Yeah, why would you?
As a college student living on their own for the first time, grocery shopping can be very overwhelming. I'm surrounded by all the food that I can't have and have to take time to read through every single ingredient on everything. Who knew that oatmeal has gluten in it? I started listening to your podcast while shopping, and it helps ease my food anxiety and helps keep me distracted. So thank you for fewer tears in the grocery store. That's Heidi.
That makes that makes my heart so warm.
Yeah, Heidi, I'm really sorry you have to deal with those issues, and that must be incredibly difficult for you, not just to shop, but to eat around anywhere. But the fact that we can be a part of your lives, life is just so amazing, and that's true for you too. As you sit out there listening, just know that we really do feel connected to you, and we want to help. So if there's something on your mind that you'd like us to talk about, a question for Maggie in her life, or things that you can ask her about and relate to, or for me or Shay in our experiences as parents, go to wholesomechaos.com and you can just suggest a topic there and it'll come right to us and we will read it and hopefully speak to that on the air in the very near future. So go check it out.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it more than you guys know. And this is such a special thing that we get to do together as a family. So thank you for being a part of that.
So anything else on your mind this week, Maggie? What's next for you?
I have something very exciting coming up that I will tell you about on next week's podcast because it's a surprise. I'm not even kidding.
What?
You're not even telling us?
No, I'm not even telling you guys.
No.
I'm trying out the whole keeping secrets from your parents thing.
Good luck with that.
No, it's going to be really good. So if you're not subscribed to the podcast, subscribe because next week's I've got something.
Okay, I'll subscribe.
Yeah, me too. I'll definitely show up on that
y'all
one.
better be here.
That's going to be like episode 40, right?
Yeah. Yep. Episode 40. Man.
All right.
Okay, well, what if we record the next week's podcast tomorrow? Would you tell us then?
No.
We can't move it up.
It's got to happen
Trying to
first.
be tricky.
It's going to be tricky.
Okay. Well, you've definitely piqued my interest and curiosity, and I'm sure the same is true for everyone out there listening. So yeah, be sure to sign up and subscribe, tell your friends to follow, and show up next week for Maggie's Big News.
You're not going to want to miss it, for sure. All right. I love you.
I love you, Maggie. Love you, honey.
Love you guys.
And we love you. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I loved, Dad, that when you were doing the unboxing, you showed the non-existent camera what you were taking out of the box.
It's so pretty.
On our podcast.
Well, I was technically showing you, but I was
Discord.
really also method acting for the audio listener. Yeah. And trying to get the Foley sounds in there. Do you hear me crinkle the wrapping paper and tap the box and things?
It was method aspiring acting.
It was all improv. I did not even rehearse that.